Tape script 7.1. The job interview.
Who do you work for now, Nigel?
I work for Intertech Publishing. We publish international business magazines.
I see. And how long have you worked for them?
I've worked there for nearly 5 years. No, exactly 5 years.
And how long have you been in charge of Eastern European publications?
For 2 years.
And what did you do before you were at Intertech?
I worked for the BBC World Service.
Tape script 7.1. The job interview.
Who do you work for now, Nigel?
I work for Intertech Publishing. We publish international business magazines.
I see. And how long have you worked for them?
I've worked there for nearly 5 years. No, exactly 5 years.
And how long have you been in charge of Eastern European publications?
For 2 years.
And what did you do before you were at Intertech?
I worked for the BBC World Service.
Tape script 7.2.
As you know, this job is based in Geneva. Have you ever lived abroad before?
Oh, yes, I have.
And when did you live abroad?
Well, in fact, I was born in Argentina, and I lived there until I was 11. Also, I lived in Berlin for 1 year when I was working for the BBC.
That's interesting. Have you travelled a lot?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I've travelled to most countries in South America and many countries in Europe. I've also been to Japan a few times.
Oh, yes. And why did you go to Japan?
It was for Intertech. I went there to interview some Japanese business leaders.
Tape script 7.3. 1.
He was born in Argentina in 1969.
2.
He went to school in Buenos Aires until he was 11.
3.
He studied modern languages and journalism for 3 years at University College London.
4.
He's worked for Intertech for the last 5 years.
5.
He left the BBC 5 years ago.
6.
He lived in Berlin while he was working for the BBC.
7.
He's been married twice.
8.
He's visited Japan a few times.
9.
He hasn't heard if he's got the job at World Watch Europe yet.
Tape script 7.4. It's in the news.
Here are today's news headlines. Convicted murderer Charles Watkins has escaped from Belmarsh Prison in South London. 2 Spanish novelists have been awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature. Hurricane Jeffrey has hit the Caribbean, causing widespread damage in Puerto Rico. 2,000 workers from a UK car factory have been laid off due to a slowdown in the economy. Desmond Lewis has been knocked out in the 5th round of his heavyweight championship fight in Las Vegas.
Tape script 7.5. 1.
The murderer Charles Watkins has been recaptured by police.
2,
A Sunny Vacations cruise ship has sunk off the coast of Florida near Miami.
3,
Maria Martin, the famous writer, has left £3 million to a local children's charity.
4,
A priceless antique vase has been stolen from a museum in Madrid.
5,
Floods have killed at least 20 people and 200 more have been left homeless in the West Country.
6,
A 15-year-old student has been given a place to study mathematics at Oxford University.
7,
Company director Paul Swan has been forced to resign because of a financial scandal.
8,
The world champion runner Ken Quicksilver has failed a drugs test at the Olympic Games and is expected to be disqualified.
Tape script 7.6. The busy life of a retired man.
How long have you been retired now, Grandpa?
Oh, let me see. It's 4 years. Yes, I've been retired nearly 4 years now. I suppose I'm used to it after all this time. But you know, I worked for Courtaulds for over 40 years. Can you believe that? 40 years.
One job for 40 years. Incredible. I remember when you retired and they gave you that gold watch. Do you like being retired? I'd get bored, I'm sure I would. Don't you get bored?
Well, I'm lucky. I've got my health, so I can do a lot. I can get out a lot. I've just taken up golf, you know. It's a wonderful sport for an old man like me, 'cause it's not really a sport at all. At least, not the way your grandpa plays it. It's just a good excuse for a walk. I go to the golf club twice a week. I've made some good friends there, you know. Have you met Ted and Marjorie? They're my age. They're a lovely couple.
No. I don't think I've met them. But didn't you go on holiday with them?
Yes, that's right. We went to Wales together last year. Oh, and we had a lovely time. Lovely time. I do appreciate company since your grandma died. You know, I really miss your grandma. 35 years we were married. 35 years and still as much in love as the day we met. She was a wonderful lady, your grandma.
Oh, I know that, Grandpa. We all miss her so much. We all loved her so much.
So, I like to keep busy. I've been on all sorts of special holidays, you know. Package holidays for senior citizens, and I've done a bit of...
Well, I know you went to visit Uncle Keith in Australia, and you've just come back from a cruise around the Caribbean. You're so brown.
I know. My word, that was an experience. I loved every minute of it. And yes, of course, Keith. I saw him 2 years ago. You've not met your Australian cousins yet, have you? Oh, you'd love the baby, Kylie. She's beautiful. Looks just like your grandma. But you know, I've also been to Spain and Morocco and Turkey. These package holidays are so good for people like me.
Oh, Grandpa, next time, please think of me. Don't you want a companion? Can I come with you? I'd love a suntan like yours. We never go anywhere interesting.
Oh, Philip, you know your mum and dad wouldn't let me. Not until you've finished your exams. Helen says I'm a bad influence on you.
Well, I think you have more fun than I do. All I have to look forward to is exams and more exams, and then years and years of work.
Oh, Philip, don't wish your life away. Just enjoy it all. You only get one go at it.
Tape script 7.7. 1.
Could I speak to Alison Short?
I'm afraid she isn't at her desk at the moment. Do you want to hold?
No, don't worry. I'll phone back later.
2.
Can I have extension 2173, please?
The line's busy at the moment. Would you like to hold?
Yes, please.
I'm putting you through now.
Thank you.
3.
Hello, could I speak to Sam Jackson, please?
I'm afraid Mr. Jackson's in a meeting. It won't be over until 3. Can I take a message?
Yes, please. Could you ask him to phone me? I think he's got my number, but I'll give it to you again just in case. It's 743-219-186.
4.
Can I speak to Terence Cameron, please?
Speaking.
Ah, Mr. Cameron, this is Holly Lucas. I'm phoning about a letter I got this morning.
5.
Hello, this is Incom International. There's no one here to take your call at the moment. Please leave a message and we'll get back to you as soon as we can.
Unit 8. Tape script 8.1. A place in the sun.
You're both mad. I think you'll regret it. You were earning good money here. You won't earn much growing lemons.
We know that, but we won't need a lot of money to live there.
But what will you do if you can't find anywhere to live?
There are lots of cheap old farms. We'll have no trouble finding somewhere.
But you don't even like gardening. What will you do if you don't like farming either?
We'll only know if we don't like farming when we try it.
Well, okay. But what if you...
Unit 8. Tape script 8.1. A place in the sun.
You're both mad. I think you'll regret it. You were earning good money here. You won't earn much growing lemons.
We know that, but we won't need a lot of money to live there.
But what will you do if you can't find anywhere to live?
There are lots of cheap old farms. We'll have no trouble finding somewhere.
But you don't even like gardening. What will you do if you don't like farming either?
We'll only know if we don't like farming when we try it.
Well, okay. But what if you...
Tape script 8.2.
I hope you'll keep in touch with friends here.
Of course we will. As soon as we get an internet connection, we'll have a Facebook page and email.
And do you think you'll have room for friends to come and visit?
Absolutely. I promise you'll be our first guest when we found somewhere to live.
Great.
But I think you'll have to wait until we've made it habitable. I'm sure we'll need to do a lot of work on the place before we invite friends.
Oh, I won't mind if it's a bit basic. Who cares if it's hot and sunny? And if you find somewhere by August, I'll come and help you.
Hey, that's the right spirit.
Tape script 8.3.
Bye, darling. Good luck with the interview.
Thanks, I'll need it. I hope the traffic won't be a problem. If I'm late for the interview, I'll be furious with myself.
Just stay calm. Call me when you can.
I will. I'll call you on my mobile as soon as I get out of the interview.
When will you know if you've got the job?
They'll tell me in the next few days. If they offer me the job, I'm going to accept it. You know that, don't you?
Of course, but we'll worry about that later.
OK. Are you going to work now?
Well, I'm going to take the children to school before I go to work.
Don't forget to pick them up as soon as you finish.
Don't worry, I won't forget. You'd better get going. If you don't hurry, you'll miss the bus.
OK. I'll see you this evening. Bye.
Bye.
Tape script 8.4. 1.
What would I do if I had £5 million? Well, I'd make sure my family had enough money, and my friends, and then I'd buy my own island in the Caribbean, and I'd give loads of money to charity.
2.
Oh, that's easy. I'd give up my job and travel. Anywhere, everywhere. Oh, but it wouldn't change me. I'd still live in the same area because I like it so much.
3.
What would I do? I'd buy a nice house in the country. I'd make it the best place I could, and I'd have lots of land so I could have peace and quiet.
4.
I'd be a space tourist and fly to Mars on the space shuttle.
5.
I wouldn't give away a penny. I'd spend it all on myself.
Tape script 8.5. 1.
If Tony calls, tell him I'm at Alex's. He can reach me there.
2.
If you've finished your work, you can take a break. Just be back in 15 minutes.
3.
If I'm not back by 8 o'clock, don't wait for me. Go without me and I'll meet you at the restaurant.
4.
If you have the flu, you should go to bed. Keep warm and drink plenty of fluids.
5.
If you're ever in London, please let me know. I'd love to show you around.
6.
If you go to Russia, you have to have a visa. You can get one at the embassy.
7.
I'd buy a computer if I could afford it. It would be really useful for work.
8.
If I had more time, I might take up an evening class. I'd love to learn more about photography.
Tape script 8.6. 1.
I finished my book.
What was it called?
A Walk in the Park.
Was it good?
It was absolutely superb.
2.
Is it true that Liz won the competition?
Yes! She won a new car.
Oh, I bet she was really happy.
Happy? She was absolutely thrilled.
3.
When I got home, I had to tell my parents that I'd failed the exam.
Oh no! What did they say?
My mum was cross, but my dad was really furious.
4.
We went out for dinner at that new restaurant last night.
Oh, what was the food like?
Well, the main course was really tasty, and as for the dessert, it was absolutely delicious.
5.
We had a wonderful time at the beach last weekend.
Oh yeah, was the weather hot?
It was absolutely gorgeous.
6.
How long was your flight?
14 hours.
14 hours? You must be really tired.
You bet. I'm absolutely exhausted.
Tape script 8.7. Charity appeals. 1.
Red Crescent. The Red Crescent is an international organisation whose aim is to protect human life and health. It helps people who are in trouble because of natural disasters, such as floods and earthquakes. It provides temporary shelter, food, water, and medical help to disaster victims, searches for people who are missing, and exchanges messages between members of families who are separated. When a disaster is over, the organisation works to help countries recover and take steps to prevent the problem happening again.
2. WWF.
WWF is the world's largest and most effective conservation organisation. It is dedicated to protecting wild animals around the world and the places where these animals live. WWF directs its conservation efforts towards 3 global goals. Firstly, it works to save endangered species, like the black rhino or the giant panda. Secondly, it works to establish and manage national parks and wildlife reserves around the world. Thirdly, it works to address global threats to our environment, such as pollution and climate change.
3.
Save the Children. Save the Children helps children by supporting programs that involve community members in improving their day-to-day lives, such as maternal and child healthcare services, education for all children, and income-earning opportunities for women. Save the Children also uses its global experience and research to help children and families during natural disasters and times of war, as well as to advocate for government policy changes that will benefit all children, including future generations.
Tape script 8.8.
Matt and Anthony.
I'm bored.
Well, it's a nice day. Why don't we go for a walk?
No, I don't feel like it. I'm too tired.
You need to get out. Let's go shopping.
Oh, no. I'd rather do anything but that.
OK. Shall we see what's on television?
That's a good idea.
Do you want to watch the news?
I'd rather watch the football.
Paul and Mike.
Oh, I'm broke, and I don't get paid for 2 weeks. What am I going to do?
If I were you, I'd get a better job.
Oh, why didn't I think of that? Thanks, Mike. That's a big help.
Well, you'd better get a loan from the bank then.
No, I can't. I owe them too much already.
Why don't you ask your parents? They'd help you out.
No, I'd rather not. I'd rather work out my problems for myself.
You ought to ask your boss for a pay rise.
Good idea, but I've tried that and it didn't work.
Oh, well, I suppose I could lend you some money.
Really? Oh, that would be great. Thanks, Mike. You're a real mate.
Yeah, well, OK then. But really, I don't think you should go out so much. That way, you won't be broke all the time.
Yeah, I know. You're right.
Unit 9. Tape script 9.1.
How many colours can you see?
3, if you don't include white. Green, pink and red.
No. Look again. There's only 2, pink and green. When the pink's next to the green, it looks red.
Really? I don't think so. They can't be the same colour. Well, maybe. What about this one? That must be a vase. A white vase. That's obvious. I can't see what the trick's supposed to be.
Well, you're just looking at the white. Look at the black. What can you see then?
I can't see anything. I can only see the white vase.
Really? Can't you see the 2 faces? They're very close to each other. I think they might be having an argument.
No, I'm stuck with the white vase.
That's strange. I bet you'll see them when you look later. Can you see a face in one of the other pictures?
Yes, that looks like someone wearing glasses.
And I can see the word liar.
Really? I'm not seeing that either.
I like this one. It looks like stairs that go up forever.
Yes. Or down.
I hadn't thought of that. We do see things differently, don't we? OK, try this. Count the legs on that elephant.
1, 2, 3... It can't have 5 legs. That's a clever drawing. So is that one. It could be a duck or a rabbit. It depends on how you look at it.
The square looks strange, don't you think?
Yeah, it looks wobbly like a jelly.
But the lines are all straight and parallel.
No, they can't be.
Well, they are. If you look line by line, you'll see.
I suppose. The dots must be creating the illusion.
And the last one. Which line's longer?
Well, the one on the left must be longer.
Get your ruler and measure.
They're the same size, of course. I should have known.
Interesting, isn't it? The tricks your mind can play.
Tape script 9.2.
Fact or fiction?
1.
Lightning never strikes in the same place twice.
This is completely untrue. Lightning often strikes in the same place over and over again. High trees, tall buildings, mountain tops. In fact, the purpose of lightning conductors is to be struck time and time again.
2.
Hurricanes always have ladies' names.
This used to be true. From 1953 to 1979, only female names were used, but now both men's and women's names are used. One name for each letter of the alphabet. The same lists are reused every 6 years. These are the first 6 names for 2012. Alberto, Beryl, Chris, Debbie, Ernesto, Florence.
3.
Women have a higher pain threshold than men.
Some research suggests the opposite, but most people still believe this to be true, because women have to give birth. We will never know how men would cope with this experience.
4.
The sea is blue because it reflects the sky.
This is true in a way. The white light from the sun is a mixture of all the colours of the rainbow, but the air reflects blue light more than other colours, so we see a blue sky. Then, when the sky is brilliant blue, the sea is also, because the water reflects the blue of the sky.
5.
A penny dropped from a skyscraper can kill a person.
Not true. It might give you a cut or a bruise, but it's not likely to kill you.
6.
Hair and nails continue to grow after death.
Not true. This is an optical illusion. After death, the body quickly dehydrates and the skin shrinks, which gives the illusion that both nails and hair are still growing.
7.
Birds are bird-brained and stupid.
Not true. Some birds are the cleverest animals known to science. For example, crows are smarter than chimpanzees, and some parrots don't just mimic, but understand human speech.
8.
No 2 snowflakes are the same.
This could be true. No one has yet found 2 identical snowflakes. But out of all the zillions that fall, it is likely that 2 may be the same.
9.
Bats are blind.
Not true. Bats have excellent eyesight.
People think they must be blind because they have a sound radar, which means they can hunt insects at night. But it doesn't mean that they can't see.
Tape script 9.3. 1.
I think I've lost my passport.
You must be very worried.
2.
Your phone's ringing.
It might be Jane.
3.
Paul's taking his umbrella.
It must be raining.
4.
Harry and Sally never go on holiday.
They can't have much money.
5.
Hannah's not in class.
She could be in the coffee bar.
6.
Look! 3 fire engines!
There must be a fire somewhere.
7.
I haven't seen Tom for weeks.
He can't be working here anymore.
8.
Whose jacket is this?
It might be John's.
9.
You got top marks in the test.
You must be joking.
Tape script 9.5. A holiday with friends.
Hi, Carl. It's Andy. How are you? Feeling better? Really? You still can't walk without a crutch, eh? So you're not back at work yet? 2 more weeks? That's when the plaster comes off, is it? I'm fine. Julie's fine too. We're both back at work. No, we haven't. But I've downloaded them all onto my computer. They're good. I didn't realise we'd taken so many. I'll email the best ones to you. Yes, the sunset. It's a good one. All of us together on Bob and Marcia's balcony, with the mountains and the snow in the background. It's beautiful. Brings back memories, doesn't it? Yes, I know. I'm sorry. But at least it happened at the end. It could have been the first day. You only missed the last 2 days. Yeah, and it was noisy too. We didn't have any views of the mountains. Yeah, we've written. We emailed the manager yesterday, but I don't know if we'll get any money back. Yeah, the airline found it and put it on the next flight. Marcy was very relieved. Absolutely. It was a great holiday. Some ups and downs, but we all got on well together and had fun. Shall we go again next year? Great. It's a date. Next time, go round the trees. I'll call you again soon, Carl. Take care. Bye.
Tape script 9.6. A holiday with friends.
Hi, Carl. It's Andy. How are you? Feeling better?
Not really. I have to sit down most of the time. It's too tiring, walking with these crutches.
Really? You still can't walk without a crutch, eh? So you're not back at work yet?
No, I'm really bored. I don't go back to the hospital for another 2 weeks.
2 more weeks? That's when the plaster comes off, is it?
I hope so. I can't wait to have 2 legs again. Anyway, how are you both? Still missing the snow and the mountains?
I'm fine. Julie's fine too. We're both back at work.
Well, at least I'm not back at work yet. By the way, have you put your photos onto a CD yet?
No, we haven't. But I've downloaded them all onto my computer. They're good. I didn't realise we'd taken so many. I'll email the best ones to you.
Please do. I'd love that. What about that one of the amazing sunset behind the hotel?
Yes, the sunset. It's a good one. All of us together on Bob and Marcia's balcony, with the mountains and the snow in the background. It's beautiful. Brings back memories, doesn't it?
Yeah, the memory of me skiing into a tree.
Yes, I know. I'm sorry. But at least it happened at the end. It could have been the first day. You only missed the last 2 days.
Okay. Oh, Andy, have you written to the hotel yet to complain about your room? That view you had over the car park was awful.
Yeah, and it was noisy too. We didn't have any views of the mountains. Yeah, we've written. We emailed the manager yesterday, but I don't know if we'll get any money back.
And Marcia's suitcase? Did she find it?
Yeah, the airline found it and put it on the next flight. Marcia was very relieved.
I bet she was. All in all, I suppose it was a pretty good 2 weeks, wasn't it?
Absolutely. It was a great holiday. Some ups and downs, but we all got on well together and had fun. Shall we go again next year?
I'd like to. All 6 of us again. Lisa wants to go again, too. It was her first time skiing, and she loved it. But she says she'll only come if I don't break a leg.
Great. It's a date. Next time, go round the trees. I'll call you again soon, Carl. Take care.
You too, Andy. Bye now.
Bye.
Tape script 9.7. 1.
I can't find my homework.
You must have forgotten it.
2.
Mark didn't come to school last week.
He must have been ill.
3.
Why is Isabel late for class?
She might have overslept.
4.
I can't find my notebook.
He must have dropped it.
5.
The teacher's checking Maria's work.
She can't have finished already.
6.
How did Bob get such good marks in that test? He must have cheated.
Tape script 9.8.
About 40 years ago, I was taking a long trip on foot over mountain heights unknown to tourists. All around was barren and colourless land. Nothing grew there but wild lavender. After 5 hours walking, I had still not found water. All about me was the same dryness, the same coarse grasses. I thought I saw in the distance a small black silhouette. It was a shepherd. 30 sheep were lying about him on the baking earth. He gave me a drink and took me to his cottage on the plain. I felt peace in the presence of this man. I asked if I might rest here for a day. He found it quite natural. He gave me the impression that nothing could surprise him. I didn't actually need to rest, but I was interested and wished to know more about him.
Tape script 9.9.
I noticed that he carried for a stick an iron rod as thick as my thumb and about 1.5 meters long. He began thrusting his iron rod into the earth, making a hole in which he planted an acorn. Then he refilled the hole. He was planting oak trees. I suppose I must have been fairly insistent in my questioning, for he answered me. For 3 years he had been planting trees in this wilderness. He had planted 100,000. Of the 100,000, 20,000 had sprouted. Of the 20,000, he still expected to lose half. There remained 10,000 oak trees to grow where nothing had grown before. That was when I began to wonder about the age of this man. He was obviously over 50, 55, he told me. His name was Elzéar Bouffier. I told him that in 30 years his 10,000 oaks would be magnificent. The next day we parted.
Tape script 9.10.
I had seen too many men die during those 5 years not to imagine that Elzéar Bouffier was dead. He was not dead. As a matter of fact, he was extremely well. He had changed jobs. He had got rid of the sheep, because they threatened his young trees. For, he told me, the war had disturbed him not at all. He had continued to plant. The oaks were then 10 years old, and taller than both of us. It was an impressive spectacle. I was literally speechless, and as he did not talk, we spent the whole day walking in silence through his forest. It measured 11 kilometers in length and 3 kilometers at its greatest width. When you remembered that all this had come from the hands of this one man, you understood that men could be effective in other ways than destruction.
Tape script 9.11.
The bus put me down in Vergon. In 1913, this village of 10 or 12 houses had 3 inhabitants. Nettles were feeding upon abandoned houses. Now everything had changed, even the air. Instead of the harsh, dry winds, a gentle breeze was blowing, laden with scents. A sound like water came from the mountains. It was the wind in the forest. I saw a fountain had been built. Ruins had been cleared away and 5 houses restored. Now there were 28 inhabitants, 4 of them young married couples. It was now a village where one would like to live. When I think that one man was able to cause this to grow from wasteland, I am convinced that in spite of everything, humanity is good. Elzéar Bouffier died peacefully in his sleep in 1947.
Tape script 9.12. Brothers and sisters. Louisa.
I'm the youngest of 7 children. My oldest sister is still alive, aged 93, and there are 16 years between us. There were 4 girls, 2 boys, and then me.
7 children, wow. How did you all get on together when you were children?
Amazingly well. Being the youngest, my 2 brothers and I called our sisters the others because they were either married or working by the time we were born. But the 7 of us all got along very well. But it's different now, of course.
Really? How?
Well, when we were small, my older sisters often took care of us. Now, my brothers and I are busy taking care of them.
Tell me about your big sister, Julia. How has your relationship with her changed over the years?
Julia was the sister who used to, on her holidays, used to take me for walks and so on. But then she went to Africa for 23 years. We wrote to one another, and I was still her little sister. When she came back, it was shortly after my husband died. We became very close, and our whole relationship changed, and we became great friends.
What do you see as the main advantage and disadvantage of coming from such a large family?
I think the main advantage was that we learned how to enjoy life without having a lot of money. I think our other relatives, my rich cousins in the city, envied us. We had old bikes, old clothes, but we had lots of freedom. In the city, they had to wear nice suits and behave correctly.
Disadvantages?
I think it was very difficult sometimes to have hand-me-down clothes, especially for a little girl like me. And I was sad that we didn't go away on holiday like some other children. But the advantages outweighed the disadvantages enormously. There's no doubt about that.
6 out of the 7 of you are still alive. How closely have you kept in touch over the years?
Very closely. Of course, we still phone each other all the time and see each other whenever we can. And we have a big family reunion every year. My granddaughters just had twins. That means we'll have 4 generations there this year. How marvellous.
Rose.
So, Rose, do you have any brothers or sisters?
No, I don't. I'm an only child.
So what was it like growing up as an only child? Were you happy?
When I was little, I liked it. I had lots of cousins, and most of them lived in the same town, so we all played together all the time. And I had a best friend who lived next door to me. She was the same age as me, and so she was a bit like a sister, I suppose. But she moved away, and that was sad. It was hard when I was a teenager.
Why was that?
Well, you know what it's like being a teenager. You're kind of unsure of how to deal with things and how to deal with people, especially parents. It would have been nice to have a brother or sister to talk to.
Some people who come from large families might envy you because you had all of your parents' attention.
Yes, but I think it has its negative side as well as its positive side. I think you don't want all your parents' attention, especially as a teenager. It was hard to find myself and my place in the world, I suppose.
What about now that you're an adult?
Again, I think it's difficult, really. My father died about 10 years ago, so of course I'm the one who's left totally responsible for my mother. I'm the one who has to look after her if she has a problem, and help her if she needs help in any way. There's nobody else to help at all.
You're married now with 2 children of your own. Was that a conscious decision to have more than one child?
Yes, definitely. And they seem very happy and they get along very well with one another. Usually.